I have a 6x6 pad here that I need to use up, and I need to make some nail file holders for craft shows coming up this fall, so I thought I would bring you guys along with me. Hey guys, it's Beth. Welcome. For Smash Those Small Paper Pads collab this month, I thought I would go ahead and do a process video with you. I have this Scrapping for Less pad called Frosty Gnomes, and it's pretty, very pretty pad. It's got kind of like a winter and Christmas feel, kind of very Nordic feel to it. So I am trying to get ahead on some craft show projects that I need to get done. We have a bunch of shows coming up this fall, so I thought I would go ahead and use this pad to make some nail file holders. I have my little template that I made that I will work off of, and then I'm going to end up with some scraps, and so I will have to figure out what I'm going to do with those scraps. But I know I want to get the nail file holders done, and there are 24 sheets here, so I know I will get at least 24 of the holders, and then we can kind of figure out what to do with those 2.5-inch strips that we're going to have left. So anyway, I just thought I would bring you guys along with me. I have the pad, and I have a bunch of embellishments that I pulled out to kind of coordinated with that pad. This is a collaboration that I'm doing with Sarah over at Crafting and Relaxing here on YouTube, and Kathy over at Stampin' Cat on Instagram, and we just are trying to focus on using up small pads throughout the year. So I'm just kind of sorting through the paper, figuring out which sides I want to use, kind of getting a good mix of the sides, and then I'm going to trim them down to 3.5 inches by 6. So I just go through all the 6x6 sheets and do this trimming at 3.5 inches. And then once we get everything trimmed down, I will start scoring. So now I have all of my pieces cut. I'm going to, those are the shorter pieces, and then these are the 3.5-inch pieces. I'm using a scoreboard. You can use any scoring method that you use. I will show you another way to score here in just a little bit. But I am scoring at 1 inch, 1 1/4, 2 1/4, and 2 1/2. So there's just 4 score marks: 1, 1 1/4, 2 1/4, and 2 1/2. And that will give us the creases we need for folding up the simple little box holder that we're going to make. And I'm just using a stylus tool that I have. I'm using the smaller end of it. I bought my scoreboard secondhand, so I don't have the original scoring tool that came with it, and so the stylus works just fine. So that is using a scoreboard. If you have a trimmer that also has a scoring blade, you can also use your trimmer. I use both methods depending on what I'm scoring. If I have to do a lot of score lines, I will bring out my scoreboard, but sometimes just scoring these 4 are pretty simple, so it's easy to also use the trimmer. You can also use a ruler and a stylus. Whatever method you have works. So now that I have all my score lines, I'm just going to go ahead and fold those up and burnish them in order to make the folds for the boxes. So I'm folding a few or 2 here, and then I'm going to show you how I put them together before I go on scoring the rest of them, or folding up the rest of them off camera. I do, when I remember, try to punch a small hole or half of a hole at the top of, kind of in the center of the front of what the front of the box would be. So this is a 3/4 inch circle punch, and I just try and center it on the score lines and punch part of the circle. It just gives it a little notch. So 1, if your paper is non-directional, you remember what the top is, and 2, the nail files are usually long enough it doesn't make a difference. If you have something shorter in there, it's usually just helpful to help pull out the contents of the box. So now I'm using my Barely Arts glue to glue up these boxes. You could use score tape or double-sided tape here as well. You just want something heavier duty than ATG. I'm trying to burnish this down as best I can without pressing really hard on the box because I don't want to flatten it. So now that I have the sides folded in, you're just going to kind of push in those sides on the bottom and create kind of like a little pinched closure. And I'm just using clothespins to hold the glue, kind of hold it together while the glue dries. So this is just, these go super fast. They are super simple. And then normally I will do these in batches, so I will let that glue dry while I work on another set of boxes, kind of gluing them together, and then I will work on the bottoms of another group, let those dry, and kind of, again, cycle through. So now the fun part, I'm going to go ahead and decorate these two. I don't do a lot on the front of these, and we'll talk about it more at the end, but I don't add a ton of embellishment, and I realized after I put the glue on the foam that I didn't want the foam on there anyway. I don't embellish them a ton just because it allows me to sell them for a little bit more inexpensively, and I don't do any embellishments that are too wide. I believe the bags I have now are a little wider than I'm used to. And it depends on, there's a couple different sizes of like pretzel bags you can get, like the Wilton pretzel rod bags. And so I've kind of gotten used to not decorating them with anything too wide because then they may not fit in the bags. So I have folded up all the rest of them and got them all glued off camera. And so now it's just a matter of decorating. I am trying to use up some of the Christmas embellishments that I have in my stash. I do like to use, this is a good opportunity to use dimensional embellishments. And so I've been trying to use some of the dimensional ones here, like puffy stickers or these dimensional Santas. So these reindeer are dimensional. I'm going to try and use up a bunch of those as well. And the puffy stickers I do also end up adding glue to because they just weren't super sticky. So I am going to set the rest of the decorating to some music, and you can just watch or craft along. Okay, now I'm moving on to these extra pieces that I have, and they are 2.5 inches by 6 inches. And I have decided that I'm going to try and make a folded tag that you can fit a Ghirardelli treat in. I've made these before, and I believe I cut them on they were like a silhouette file that I used, but I thought this is a great width, and I don't have to trim anything off. I just have to score and do some rounded or angled edges on the top, and then kind of turn it into a tag. So that's what I'm doing. I'm scoring at 2 7/8 and 3 1/8, and that gives me that little bottom kind of pocket there. So 2 7/8 and 3 1/8, and that'll give us about 1/4 inch on the bottom that will give it enough depth that you can fit one of the Ghirardelli chocolate squares in there. So I liked that I didn't have to cut anything. All I had to do was score and kind of trim and decorate. I took some of the solid patterns and die cut some circles and rectangles, just trying to use up all of the space I could on those solid ones, and I'm going to use those to decorate. So now it's just a matter of folding. And so I'm going to go through and fold all of the tags. And by the magic of video, I jump to the end. So you could use a tag, like an angled tag corner, or I'm just using a corner rounder. It's what I happen to have over here at my video desk. You could use the tag topper. You could do whatever you want to the top. And then I'm just using the smaller hole on my We Are Memory Keepers hole punch. And I went with the smaller hole just because it'll give me a little more space that I can actually decorate with. So I finished all of those off camera, and now I get to decorate the tags. And again, just trying to use up some of the dimensional embellishments. Like, these are chipboard pieces that I wouldn't necessarily put on cards, and so I'm just trying to get some of those used up. And then the die cuts that I just did with the solid. So I will set you to some music again as I finish decorating these tags. everything is now decorated. The one bad thing about these tags is on the directional paper, the back side of the tag, the pattern will be upside down, and I'm okay with that. I'm going to be adding some circles on the back where someone can write to and from, so that a lot of that will be covered anyway. The nail files that I use are from Amazon. I will link them down below. And you can also sometimes find them at Dollar Tree, but they used to be 3 for $1. Now they're 2 for $1.25. So Amazon turns out to be a better deal. I got mine on sale for $4 for 10, so they're only 40 cents a file. They, I think, have gone up to regularly be $5 now for the pack, but still you get 10, so, and they're pretty good quality. The bags I'm using are just like the Wilton pretzel size bags. If I can find them, I'll link them below as well. Otherwise, you can find them at Walmart, Michael's, Hobby Lobby in the candy food aisle. They're just like the normal decorative pretzel bags. To tie off my tags, I'm just using some twine, looping it through, and then tying off the top, and then someone can still tie it to a bag or add it to a package. And it's as simple as that for the tags. Okay, so my 6x6 Frosty Gnomes pad is done. I have 24 nail file holders made, packaged, ready to go for craft shows this winter. All I need to do is add my little business label up here on the back. I just don't have any printed right now. And then I have 18 of these little tags, and I haven't packaged these yet because I'm trying to decide if I want to wait until closer to time and go ahead and get the Ghirardelli squares and stick them in here, or I don't know. I think I'm going to go ahead and wait and get some of the Ghirardelli squares closer to Christmas time. And then I usually just use some ATG on them on the back of the square and slide it in and press it, and that holds it in long enough for people, you know, to use it. And then I think I've packaged them in like groups of 3, just so they're not having to buy one individual. So anyway, 24 sheets got me 24 nail file holders and 18 Ghirardelli holder tags, gift tags, and I had this for scrap. I feel like that was pretty good. That was pretty good use of my pad. I know I'm going to get questions about pricing, and in the past, I think the past couple years, I've sold these nail file holders for like $1.50 each or 2 for $2. But I think I'm going to have to up it a little bit this year just because the price of the nail files went up. So I may still try and do maybe like $1.75 each or 2 for $2. I don't know. I need to figure out pricing, but in the past, I had done them $1.50 each or 2 for $2, and they sold like hotcakes. And the reason I can do that is because they are super quick to make and batch out. I don't do a whole lot of embellishing on the front of them. The only real cost is in the nail file itself. And then these tags, I honestly don't remember what I've charged in the past. I think maybe a pack of 3 for... We might have to say $3. It depends on what the Ghirardelli squares end up being this year. And again, like inflation has caused everything to go up. So I'll probably have to look at pricing for everything come this winter, and we may have to like bump prices up a little bit, but I don't want to do it too much because I know money's tight for everybody. So long story for another day. But that's what I have to tell you for pricing right now, because I know some people will ask. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you liked seeing a way to use up a whole pad, whether you're creating gifts for someone or creating items for donation or craft fair. This was a great use for me, and it helped me get ahead for our winter craft shows. So hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Again, please be sure to check out Sarah and Kathy, linked in the description box below. Thank you so very much for your time, and hope you all have a very crafty day.